Good day, all, and welcome to the Men of F.E.A.S.T. Today we're going to be discussing a timely topic: school, stress, and the DBT model of emotion. So DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, is based on the view that emotions are brief, involuntary, full system, patterned responses to internal and external stimuli. A mouthful, yes. Let's take a look. A primary function of emotions is to serve as a rapid communication system, both internally to the person experiencing the emotion and to those external. Invalidation of emotions sends the message that the communication wasn't received. So typically that results in a delivery escalation, intensity or frequency. Increased emotionality, which maybe is a reaction to change regarding school, presents us as caregivers with opportunities. Going back to school or starting a new school brings with it change. The fundamental nature of reality is change and process. So school changes. What types of opportunities does this provide caregivers? There's many emotions that surround changes that come with school. And as we observe these emotions, this provides us with data that then helps us to support more effective recovery. How? Because we're receiving and utilizing the communications. Let's think about this. Therapy doesn't necessarily focus on stability and consistency, but aims to foster adaptability when people are confronted with change. One polarity in DBT is that we all must accept ourselves and one another where we are and as we are in the moment, and also accept the need to change. So navigating school for us as caregivers and the emotions that surround change involves validating and learning from the communications that are inherent in the emotion being expressed. The skills that we're bringing on board through groups like the Men of F.E.A.S.T require us to use this new data as it is presented to us. And then we must engage in overlearning the skill so that to support our loved one effectively and efficiently in the moment, we can call upon what has been practiced long term. I'd like to take a look at an image and speak a little bit more about the overlearning and the routinizing of skill use. And then referring back to the definition, the DBT view of emotion as a patterned response. The Wellworn Path in this image is a metaphor for the avenue of predominant emotionality expressed by your loved one. It's well-traveled and may, in your estimation and your experience with their eating disorder, not lead to productive outcomes for them, for your family, for you. This is not necessarily the path of least resistance, and most often it's painful for your loved one. But undoubtedly it's a path that has some neural wiring in the brain from repeated events, emotions, thoughts, and actions. So it's a path, and it's well worn, and school and stress can place your loved one on it quite frequently. Traveling this path of emotions is an act of communication. Your loved one is communicating something, perhaps involuntarily, to themselves and to you. The process of skill building may indicate that a new tool or skill is necessary to achieve a more effective result than the one inherent in utilizing this particular path. So, taking this from the metaphorical to the practical, we as caregivers need to validate the emotion that we're seeing expressed by our loved one. We need to learn to understand what is being communicated. And we need to learn and use skills that support or lead our loved one on a new path, allowing that repeated experience to accomplish some neural rewiring. Forming that new and effective path is a Groundhog Day, lather, rinse, repeat type scenario involving repeated exposures, validation, and support. For example, using your DBT skills, how many metaphorical passes through the overgrowth and underbrush in this image would it take to form a clear path here? How would doing so look emotionally for your loved one? Would it be challenging, fear-inducing? The new path, the effective path or emotional coping skill, needs to be discovered, then cleared through use, then consistently utilized. So school is a microcosm of life and change. It's a learning environment for our loved one, but it's also a great learning environment for us as caregivers. And we're most effective as caregivers when we take the data that we learn from expressed emotion that pervades the school experience, and we apply our learned skills to clear a new path.